if you have lost someone that you love recently and you're wondering, what is grief all about? What is normal? What is okay? What is not okay? I want you to stick around in this video because I am going to give you 6 things to think about to help you understand what is normal in grief so that when they happen to you, you will be prepared. Early in my grief, I didn't have this level of education, and I literally thought that I was going crazy. And I remember saying to myself, am I going crazy? Is there something wrong with me? I thought that there was something wrong with me. And so I want to give you these 6 things so that you know that there isn't anything wrong with you. You just haven't been taught about grief, what grief is like. And so we're gonna teach you and give you the education that you need so that when these things happen to you, you're gonna be prepared. So let's dive in. Number 1, you may have noticed that your emotions are all over the place, and the emotions that you are experiencing are much more intense than anything you've ever experienced before. If this is your first situation with loss of someone that you love, or if the person that you've lost that you are very, very close with, your emotions are going to be intense and they are going to be up and down and all over the place, and you're going to be switching through those emotions very, very quickly. It can leave you feeling emotionally erratic. I want you to know that this is a normal part of the grieving process. A lot of times in the beginning, you're feeling numb, you're feeling in shock. There can be anger that suddenly shows up unexpectedly. You can suddenly dive into a deep depression. You can come out of that depression and think that you're getting better, think that everything's going to be okay, and then get triggered by something else that's going to happen, that's going to send you way back into another depression. Your emotions are going to be all over the place. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride. Know that this is normal and that the way through it is to experience all of those emotions. So instead of making yourself wrong for the emotions that you're feeling, just notice what those feelings are. Let them come, let them flow, pay attention to them, and know that you will figure this out as you move forward in your grief. This is part of the process. Hey there, it's Catherine, and I want to interrupt this video for just a second to remind you about my upcoming 10-week grief-inspired grief transformation course. We are going to walk you through all the aspects that you need to deal with in order to help you move through your grief, move forward, and learn how to live and be happy again. Yes, it is possible. I walk you through it every step of the way. Reach out to me at griefinspired@gmail.com or visit my website at griefinspiredme.com to learn more. Number 2 is if you start to experience cognitive fog, we call it brain fog. Sometimes people will call it grief brain. Many times we have to go back to our lives shortly after we lose a loved one. We go back to work, we go back to taking care of the kids in the household, all the things that we need to do in our regular activities. And we start realizing that we're maybe forgetful, or we don't remember to do certain things that are really important, or we just can't feel mentally clear, like we just can't get it together. Remember that because you are grieving, grief is a mental process in addition to being an emotional process. It does take energy from you. So you are not going to be performing in your work or in your everyday life at 100%. Know that that is okay and that it's part of the grief process. So if you think you're losing your mind, know that you aren't. You are just grieving. Number 3, so many people will tell me that there's all these physical symptoms that are happening to them. You will experience fatigue. You will be emotionally tired. You will realize that you're probably not sleeping 100%, which will also make you additionally tired. You may be experiencing neck pain, back pain, soreness, You may have trouble eating or eating too much and have digestive issues. This is also part of the grief process because the intensity of the emotions, the intensity of the mental toll that this is taking on you, it will affect your body physically. Your mind affects your body. So give yourself a break. Know that this is happening. Give yourself a little bit more rest. Give yourself a little more time, a little more space. Do only the things that you need to do, the things that are most important. And if there are things that you can let go to give your body physically a break as you're exhausted, do that for yourself. Next, there's going to be some behavior changes. So we mentioned before about some of the emotions. So for me in particularly, I'm Italian and I'm Irish. And so I kind of had a temper to begin with. Something to know is that the way you are before your loss, behaviorally, with your personality, this can get heightened as you grieve. You can get a little more sensitive. You can be a little bit more raw and vulnerable. And so when someone pushes a button, you're going to react more strongly or maybe be surprised by how you react. So for me, I was very angry and the smallest thing could really set me off. So I said my thermostat was much, much lower. My threshold for tolerance of anything was much, much less when I was grieving. So pay attention. There will be some behavioral changes. You might be a little more sad than normal. You might be a little angrier than normal. You might be shorter tempered. There are things that are going to change for you, and know that this is just part of the grief process. So go gentle with yourself. Spend a little time in reflection. Try to get curious and figure out what's going on so that you can choose to do things that are really going to help you and not hurt you as you grieve. Next, we're going to talk about spiritual questioning. Oftentimes, we have all different kinds of beliefs. I personally grew up Catholic, so I had a set of beliefs that was given to me as part of my childhood. When I experienced the loss of my child, everything that I believed, I began to question. You will question, is there a God at all? Why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? Did I do something wrong? Is there a God? If you don't believe in anything, you might start wondering, is there something? Should I be believing something? What's going to happen next? How am I going to keep on living knowing that maybe my loved one is gone? I'm never going to see them again. How do I deal with that? So there may be some things that come up spiritually as part of the grief process. Again, the grief process is a fantastic time to question all the things that you thought you knew about your faith, about spirituality, and give yourself some space to explore new things. Spend more time outside in nature, looking at the wonders of the world that we live in. Spend time quiet, be introspective. Decide what you think you believe instead of listening externally to what everyone else says. Here at Grief Inspired, I have 10 Grief Inspired mantras, and Grief Inspired mantra number 9 is that the answers to your life are within you. And that includes the things you believe about your spirituality, about faith, about what you do believe and what you don't believe. So take time during the grief process to do that exploration, and know that whatever you come up with, as long as it's right for you, you know you've got it right for you. Lastly, I want to talk about the intense loss of potential meaning and purpose. I work with a lot of people who have been full-time caregivers, and that had been their entire life. Their entire existence was really just taking care of that person. Well, when they lose that person and they don't have to take care of them anymore, suddenly this can be a real problem, because they start to ask themselves, why am I here? What is my purpose? I remember coming home myself After losing my son, I had been away because we stayed at the Ronald McDonald House for about 6 weeks while my son was in the neonatal intensive care unit. I came back to my house, back to my old life, and when I walked in the front door, I remember just crumbling and falling to the ground because everything that had so much meaning, my house, my job, all of the things that I had tried to do to make my house so perfect seemed to have no meaning anymore. Life didn't have meaning. I didn't know what my life was for if it didn't have my son in it. That can happen if you lose a spouse. What purpose do I have on being here if my spouse is gone? A lot of people question when they lose their parents. What does this mean as I'm an orphan now? What do I do with that? So figuring out what life meaning is for you moving forward, finding purpose for your life moving forward is part of the grief journey. It's what we do here at Grief Inspired. It's something that gives you an opportunity to look at that. Now, are you going to do that probably the first week of your grief? Absolutely not. That's something that comes in time. You need to work through the grief process, all the emotions, deal with the cognitive fog, understand what your physical symptoms are and how grief is showing up for you. What are the behavioral changes? What's happening for you? Where are you triggered? Where are you angry? What spiritually are you looking at? And then once you've gone through all of those things, then you can start to look and say, what's next for me? How do I rebuild my life without this person? How can I be inspired by this grief? How can I find new meaning and purpose? All of this does not happen overnight. It takes time. It's why I do what I do here at Grief Inspired, to help you along the way. It's why we have a community of people. That's why I have a course to walk you through these things, to teach you what you need to know so that you don't have to do it on your own. Grief can upend your life, but it doesn't have to end your life. You can do this. You can get through the grief process. I believe in you. It's time to move forward. Let us help you. Get started now. Reach out to me at griefinspiredme.com and let's get started. You've got this. You can do this. And we're with you every step of the way.